Yo, what's good, gamers? Today I'm gonna show you a Lunging Strike boss killing Barbarian build from Season 5 PTR. This is the bleed version for Lunging Strike, so stacking crit damage, gushing wounds, the good old, and also there is new unique items that make this possible or make this even like hitting harder, as you can see here. First phase deleted within a couple seconds, right? And yeah, so Locran's Talisman is a new amulet that you can get in as a part of the story to unlock the new endgame called Infernal Horde, which I also have the video up in the upper corner. So you'll get that as a reward. You can get a chance of getting greater graphics, but it basically gives you a great chance in crit damage. The crit damage is stacking even more if you stack max resource. You can see Lilith is done. So we have double dipping here, not double dipping, double stacking or double scaling from max fury, right? Max resource. It's from Aladni, my favorite sword. And then it is the amulet that gives you extra crit damage above your 100 fury. So if you're able to get 300 fury, you get 200% extra crit damage from the amulet, which scales even harder because of Grandfather if you use that. I think it's a great synergy. And then the new headpiece, Lucian, that makes us, have a lower cost on the resource, but it also makes it so it increases your damage, which is also pretty crazy. Might get a little bit nerfed because that helm is interacting pretty wildly with some of the builds in the PTR that are hitting for quadrillion. But this is a really fun build, single target boss killer, insane. I also have a second build on my main barb where I do a pit. If you guys want to see the showcase there, let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to share that with you. And yeah, let's take a look at the setup here. So we got the planner over here. I'm gonna go over the skill tree first, then we can take a look at the gear. So Lunging Strike, we go with the bleeding version here, 20% bleeding. And also a little bit of healing if you hop between mobs here and there, not too bad. Also, the version you saw in the video is with leap, but that's also because of the mechanics in the second phase of Lilith. Otherwise, it's no leap. Here we go with this setup. We go with Triple Shout, Steel Grasp, Call the Ancients, and Lunging Strike. So Lunging Strike over here, fully decked out, nothing in here, we don't need it. You could maybe go Endless Fury for like more resources if you struggle with it, but I don't think it's needed. If you go, for example, without Starless Sky, we could totally go with this one instead. So Rallying Cry, the classic, this is the 45 generation for this build. And then we got the Challenging Shout to get even more fury and take damage. Classic HP increase with damage reduction. Here we got a Berserking uptime from an aspect if you can. The new Anger Management if you want to get that. Otherwise, we have Steel Grasp for the Berserking and the Warcry. So the Airfall while Berserking, some movement speed here. Warcry here for the damage increase. If you're a single target like at the boss, you can go with 45, or you should, because this one doesn't activate on the bosses. Booming Voice to last shows longer, Gatherly Yell for extra defensive layer, very good stuff. You could even go for a Raid Leader on these bosses to have better uptime on the Tyrell's Might. Pit Fighter, damage reduction and damage increase, got to the bone. That's why the bleed does so much damage. We got Counteroffensive for more damage, Steel Grasp to proc vulnerable, but also to, have Berserking up. Next up, we got Invigorating Fury for the uptime for Tyrell's Might for the heal. We got Duelist for attack speed. I'll call the Ancients. They give you attack speed, they give you damage. They also buff this one in the current Season 4 patch. And also good resource generation. Like you get Fury with the Frenzy Barb here, Frenzy Ancient, that's very good. And Gushing Wound with the Blade critical strike damage scaling, which is amazing. So that was the skill setup. On the items, how this build works, then we got to take a look at all the items, alright? So the new headpiece here, as you can read, there's a resource cost reduction, but each time you use the skill, the resource is getting higher and higher, up to 5 stacks, so 25 times 5, right? But you also get increased damage, as you can see here, up to 25. I don't really understand the range of the new uniques from 5 to 25%. It's pretty insane. But the ranks to core skills, not important. Like hit, pretty good. Max resource, max life, pretty good headpiece. With this one, there's another sword here that makes this so basic skills deal increased damage, but they cost a resource. If you can make your basic skill do or generate a lot of resources, because they don't lose the generation fury. They don't lose that on the basic skill with this weapon. You can still generate. So having the 3 points in here would be extremely good. And yeah, it goes up to 300% increased damage. Not really sure it is this range. That's crazy. But ranks to basic skill, basic attack speed, which goes up to 30%, so that's like a rapid aspect, that's why we don't have it here. And max resource, again, combined with Ramaladne, max resource right here, that scales from it. As you can see here in the description, you also lose Fury every second, but that's okay. So they might also change the affixes on this unique. They said going into Season 5, which was not on PTR, they will change most of the affixes on current uniques. So you get max resource on this headpiece, max resource on both of these swords, and the last one is this Lockrant's Talisman. Attack speed, all stats, crit damage, which goes up to 200%, and max resource again. This is uber unique status, man, aka mythic unique status. This is a talisman. And then also another insane range from 0.1 to 0.5% crit chance up to 50% crit chance. And then above 100 primary resource, you get 1 extra percent crit damage. So with this build, it's about 300 Fury, so you get over 200% crit damage. We don't even use Grandfather on this build, because I found also personally that having the Edgemaster on the 2-ender and just having this legendary 2-ender is just better. For a single target though, maybe Grandfather could be better. I would have to test that, but in general, I would like it just because we have more space to hit that Berserking for Blood Rage. So yeah, the chest piece, Steril's Might, amazing stuff. Holy Bolts, they buffed this twice recently, amazing head piece. Because it gives you both defensive layer from damage reduction and resistances, but also offensive because of the bolts. Gloves, we go with Plain Gorgeous here. This solves the AoE problem with this build. But on my personal Lunging Strike Pit build, I don't use this. You can though. On the pants here, we go with Might aspect for the damage reduction here, 20%. Ranks to basic skill, max life and strength, imposing presence for HP increase, important. Steel Grasp, stun, extra stagger and boss, why not? Hectic for cooldown reduction on the skills, if you use it 5 times, the Lunging Strike that is. All resistance, armor, war cry, Lunging Strike range or movement speed, up to you which you want to go with, and then luck hit, some extra stagger. Weapon 200 Moonrise, the most important aspect for basic skill setup. We go with strength, life, and crit damage tempered from Rogue, now it's global in Season 5. And then luck hit for physical damage, that's probably the only thing you can go for. You can also go for a Berserking duration if you want to. I would probably go for that instead, because we don't have anger management on this build. But anger management is, I mean, you would have to drop Pain Gorgers if you want to get anger management, which is permanent Berserk if you are above 40 Fury. But this works just fine. I mean, we have Berserk here, Warcry, and Steel Grasp with Hectic and all the cooldown reductions from Martial Glyph. No problem. Shard of Arathil, already talked about it. We got Ramaladne, same story. We want to gem for crit damage for the Gushing Wound scaling. Here we go with Berserking Tempering to hit the Blood Rage. You only need it on 2-ender. Vulnerable damage to cap out the Hemorrhage, which is currently nerfed, or currently going to be nerfed in Season 5. They're going to cap it. Right now it's uncapped. By the way, you need 355% vulnerable to cap out Hemorrhage. More about it later. On the rank, we go with Adaptability here for the skill damage. Basic skill damage. We go with Warcry cooldown reduction. I personally like all the Ancients cooldown reduction because that rolls really high. If you masterwork it, it goes... if you proc masterwork on it, it goes up to 40% on Call of the Ancients, which is really, really insane, the cooldown on that. We go with attack speed, crit chance, and then max life. Probably don't need the max life here. You could go with crit damage for Gushing Wound scale even more. Ring Starless Sky makes this spammable even more because your skill will cost less and less resource, up to 5 stacks. Lucky hit, good stuff. Crit chance, crit damage, core skill, kinda useless, but it's okay. And Amulet talked about it already as well. Good stuff. So that's the gear setup here. We jump for HP on armor, and then jewelry we go with all resistances, which is easy to cap with Steril's Might. So you have space to get something else on this one. Starless Sky also gives you all resistances, which is very good. The technique, obviously we only want the vulnerable here, 200x. You could probably go with the bleed from 200 sword, which would go well with Gushing Wounds. I'm not too sure or positive if it does scale from that though, but this is a safe bet. Paragon points over here. I'm gonna show the Paragon. So first glyph we go with is Exploit for vulnerable damage. Both sides trying to focus on max life nodes. Second board we go with a Warbringer. So this one is for max Fury. especially this side with extra HP. So this is some good stuff. Glyph, we go with Ire for strength, very min-max for strength. I like this one. Some all resistances even on top of that, easier to hit that cap. Next up, the third, we would go with a Carnage here. We put ambidextrous to buff magic nodes, aka damage while berserking, but also damage reduction. I like this one. More attack speed here for Carnage aspect. Damage while berserking on the way. Both sides here, as you can see. So easy to get Blood Rage, Blood Rage cap. From here on out, I would go for probably Flawless Technique, which is great damage with one-handed weapons, which is dual wield. This is dual weapon, so even more scaling for gushing wounds. That's why this damage is going crazy. And even more damage reduction here from close enemies, which is very good. We go with Martial to buff even more magic nodes. So it goes for the once again great damage and damage reduction. So these two are my favorite boards for dual wield builds and putting magic node glyphs in it, because I just like it so much. After this, we would go for the last glyph segment here, which is Decimator. Here we go with Wrath for crit damage, but also for the refunds, or like Generation Fury, which goes or gets even more amplified by Resource Generation, affixes or tempers if you have. Damage reduction for vulnerable damage here as well. If you want Dexterity for the crit damage, and also this Decimator is amazing for even more damage increase from vulnerable. Next up, we just got the legendary Paragon nodes for Blood Rage. We want to cap this bad boy out. Easy clap right here. Even more damage for berserking. This might be a bit of overkill, I think, on the berserking, but I'm not too sure. And then last one, we go with Hemorrhage. Once again, this caps out at 45%, which it caps out at 355% vulnerable damage. That's what you need to reach the cap for it. So yeah, this was just a little showcase. You got some notes of my boy written here. You can take a look, some like description and some tips and tricks as well. And it's also speed farm pits 101, at least 101, I mean, in the pit. Overpass easily, and the problem is with the pit on PTR, once again, it's bugged twice basically. Not bugged, just it just doesn't reflect the live version of pit, and that it makes it very unpleasant. So I will try to put this current video in the showcase here, so you guys have easier reach to that. But overall, very surprised, and I hope they will not nerf this, because I always wanted to run a Lunging Strike basic skill build on top of Frenzy. But yeah, there's also a second version here, which is work in progress with Flay. This is another version you could use probably in the pit as well for stacking easier Flay like a bleed, if you want to. But yeah, this overall, I can see this build being very powerful for PvP as well. Obviously, would want like the Iron Skin, Glyph, or sorry, aspect for the Unstoppable and whatnot, and the barrier. But yeah, in general, top notch. But anyways, shout out to my boy Irritated once again. Thank you guys for watching. I also stream every day on Twitch. My channel is up here. It will be in the description, in the pinned comment. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, hitting that thumbs up, commentating as well to trigger YouTube algorithm, guys. That would mean a lot to me and it would help a lot. And yeah, until next time, let me know also if you want to see the pit version of my setup for Lunging Strike. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. I will try to make a Frenzy build as well, only Frenzy build for Season 5. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. Peace.